Hello everyone. I wanted to look at really an extension of the last reading I did on Trump. And we saw that worry about his financial fortune, worried about the Mueller investigation. Really, there's nothing in the presidency for him anymore because it's all bigger than Ben-Hur. And what I likened it to a boulder squashing a very, well, really an ant, and that is the American judicial system. So I picked up that he's quite worried about Ivanka, and other readers have suggested that she may actually even go to prison. So that's the question that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to be using my Aquarian deck because I know that they're going to be fair and balanced. Okay, so, well, there's an energy about this Aquarian deck that is both. I guess cutting in terms of, cuts right to the truth, but it's also reasonably I wouldn't say gentle, but no nonsense. No, I don't think there's we'll just see. Okay, so in relation to Ivanka Trump, is she going to do prison time? Okay, that's a pretty harsh question. I don't even like asking it. But is Ivanka Trump going to be prosecuted or caught up in the Mueller investigation, and will she be penalised for it? That's probably a better question. Well, Ivanka Trump, and of course, is this what the worry around her? Is this what we're seeing? All right, so what I'm getting is that Jared, it's her husband that's actually going to be in the thick of the Mueller investigation. She will actually be caught up in relation to the Trump Tower in Moscow. Perhaps her role in the 2016 campaign is going to be scrutinised. She's also going to be asked about what she knew about her husband's activities in relation to Russia and other things. It seems to me Jared is right in the focus of the Mueller investigation. So there's a lot on her mind. She's also worried about the Trump fortune, and she's worried about her children. And of course, her father thinks, I'm getting that her father thinks that really was his presidency worth it? I think he's coming to the conclusion it wasn't. So will Ivanka Trump be caught up in the Mueller probe? The diamonds, okay. Someone sent me a tip on YouTube about her business partner. They were in a diamond business, and she's closed down those businesses, and the diamonds were being used to money launder. Okay, it seems to me the bed that Ivanka Trump has made for herself is actually starting to unravel. So will Ivanka Trump be caught up in the Mueller probe? Ivanka Trump, Mueller probe. Oh dear. I'm just getting a sense of how they do business, and it's actually giving me a bit of a chill here. The Hierophant, yeah, that's the courts, okay. I asked would she be caught up in the probe, and I asked if she would be penalised, and we talked about Jared. Yes, there are court matters. There are potentially looming for her, and possible things that she will have to negotiate, and she'll be negotiating with the courts. Okay, so she might have been used to getting her way in the past. This is a whole different landscape for her. She doesn't know how to navigate it. She can't rely on her father because he's actually caught up in it as well, and in many ways there's this whole feeling about if he didn't go for the presidency, this wouldn't be happening. Okay, so it's kind of a regret there, the emotion of regret, but she is really quite frightened. Okay, that's what not frightened, but she's really. I wouldn't be surprised if I pull a nine of swords. Different readings that I've done on Ivanka in the past, and have shown this incredible anxiety that's going on in her mind at the moment. So this is consistent with what I've been reading, that she's up against the courts, she's up against the full force of the law. This is an action card. The Knights are action cards. I had to laugh the other day when we did that reading on the raid on Trump's accountant's office in Chicago. The Knights were like mobilised. The Knight of Rods is really about. It's really about, she's worried about losing her freedom. It can also be it's about her freedom to do business in the future. It's also the card of travel as well. So, she's worried about being restricted in the future. And indeed she should be, because that's what's actually coming forward for her. Restrictions and restriction of movement almost. So, she's not going to be able to move around in the same way in the business circles and even in society that she did before. And this is her challenge, the Four of Swords. Okay, so it's not a nice card. It's actually solitude, having to take time out to recover. This is actually her. This card is telling me she's actually super overwhelmed and anxious at the moment, and almost like if she doesn't do something soon, then she's actually going to have some sort of breakdown, because this is in her challenge area. It's the challenge for her that she actually needs to retreat. She actually needs to leave DC. That would be a good option for her at the moment. And the Ace of Cups, that's interesting, because this is, the aces are all about new things happening, new cycles, new ways of doing things, new income sources, new mental clarity, new inspiration. But in this card, it is actually a new way of living that's coming forward for Ivanka Trump. Okay, this is around her soul and her spirit and her it's around her emotions, okay, and her healing that will need to be done. She's actually going to probably take some time out and actually to learn how to live a different life now, because really I'm seeing that her old life is actually going to be completely over. And really, are we not surprised? I mean, these major arcanas, here are the courts. The question was, will she be caught up in the Mueller probe? Will she be penalised in some way for her actions? The courts and judgment. Okay, so I got this impression, when I opened this reading up, that, we're talking about another human being, and it bothers me that these cards are coming forward. But none of us are responsible for anybody else's journey in life. So all we can do is have a look at, she's in the White House. She's an advisor. She's been meddling around in USA's policies and futures and all sorts of things. She put herself in that position. So, that's what happened. She had a choice. She could have decided not to go to Washington. She could have decided to live another life. But she's lived essentially in the business life that her father has, in a way. And really, I think this is kings, as I said, are all about authority, and this is about her father. Okay, so it's almost around the downfall of her father. That's what's really on her mind at the moment, and it really could be Jared as well. Jared and her father. Okay, so they're caught in the same web. And this is what I saw at the beginning of the reading. It's not just her role in Trump Organisation. It's her role as the wife of Jared Kushner. What did she know? What didn't she know? Of course she knew everything. What was she involved in? What wasn't she involved in? It's all of that. It's Jared and her father, okay, and the role that she played in their potential things or affairs or, whatever the word is. They haven't been prosecuted yet. So it will be the allegations, the role that she has played in those allegations against them coming forward. And, the Knight of Pentacles again is the action. This is actually, it's hard work. Her challenge at the moment is hard work around money, okay? So whether or not they're working to shore things up or put their affairs in order, and it's also travel away from DC. So really staying where she is probably the worst thing that she can do. And mirroring the new starts, of course, the new starts, the new way of living. It's not going to be the kind of new starts, where someone takes a new job and gets transferred to an idyllic destination and starts over anew. It's actually going to be quite. This is the card. The Hangman is the card. This person is on the cross upside down. Okay, and they're suspended, and it's around sacrifice, self-sacrifice. So the new starts that she is going to, have are actually going to be not like anything, not like the way she's lived before. There's going to be a loss there or a suspension, and I think it is around finances, okay? Now, in relation to the courts and judgment coming forward around the Mueller probe for the Trump family, let's just put it like that, we've got the Five of Rods. And the Five of Rods are, it is around obstacles and challenges. And this is really what's in her way at the moment, that the Mueller probe and potentially the court cases to arise out of that. It's going to be a real battle for them going forward in the future. And, the Emperor, the head, this is like, I think this is around Congress, okay? I think this is around, I see more Mueller as a king. I often get him either as the Strength card or the King of Wands. But I actually do think this is Congress that she's going to have to deal with as well. So we have the issue of her emails and the investigations that are going to go on there. I think this is Adam Schiff and his committee and the reopening of the Russia probe, the congressional Russia investigation, the unlocking of evidence there. Mueller's probe is going to be as significant there, but there's also going to be Congress to deal with as well. So there's going to be, expect things to come forward around Jared Kushner and the Russia-Trump alleged collusion. And her challenge is the Magician. And if you've been following my readings over the last few weeks, you will know that the Magician has come forward in relation to Trump at this point of time. And this is things getting away from the Trump family. There's too much there. The Magician comes forward in actualising into reality. And I think this is the phase that America is going through at the moment, and the world as well, that all of this that we've seen over the last couple of years, and indeed what we're seeing now, is actually our view isn't clouded anymore. We can actually see what is actually going on. It's quite transparent. And this is around Mueller and the courts and the various opposition to what has gone on, is actually all now coming into the realm of reality. Okay, so we don't, our view is not obscured anymore. We can actually see what's going on. And that is a challenge for her. Indeed, in this reading, this is Mueller coming forward, because really that has been at the heart of it when he's had a Republican Congress totally against him for the last 2 years. And he's had the weight of Donald Trump using his presidency in dubious means. And, I won't go into that. We are all aware of that. But Mueller has been there, and he's been the magician, really. And that's really what's going to go against her. It's going to be Congress and Mueller. you know, is there going to be success for Ivanka in the future? Let's not get too carried away with this the literal meaning of the Sun card, which is finding some kind of happiness in the future after a period of struggle. This is actually the illumination that is actually going to go on for her. So all of this reading talks to me about all of the alleged collusion and conspiracy, all the Russia gate, the Trump gate, the whatever, is actually going to be illuminated. And we've got Mueller's report coming forward very, very soon. And I think we're going to see some real traction in January. You know, December we might have these things happening really quickly. Indeed, we already have. We've got, over the next few days, Mueller's releasing his sentencing report, I think, on Flynn and Manafort and Cohen. So we're going to be getting some real facts and evidence coming forward. Flynn did a plea deal, didn't he? Cohen's done a plea deal. Manafort did, but stuffed his up. Okay, so really this is the time when Mueller has a chance to show the evidence. And the way that he's been doing it has been very strategic. It's almost now that we can't doubt now the evidence. It's overwhelming. And again, I go back to this Boulder, and there's Trump and his children, and they're pushing in vain against this, you know, huge sheer weight of that rolling huge stone. And in this sense, I think the Sun card for Ivanka is illumination. So at some level, her new start post all of this is going to be a different way of living her life, okay? And it's going to be largely because all of these events were illuminated, and she really has no choice but to do things in a different way in the future, because she's just not going to have the money there. She's not going to have the support of her father. Her husband is probably going to, have to pay for his lies and perjury and any other actions that Mueller or Congress might uncover or prove. She's going to have no other choice. Her whole life is going to be upended. And I think this is what I see in relation to what Donald Trump is worried about. You know, will she go to prison? I mean, there is this loss of freedom for her, this loss of movement, this restriction. I don't see any cards that are putting bars up here. I don't see the Eight of Swords, for example, which can indicate imprisonment. She's definitely going to come up against the law. She's going to be tied up with it. But I think, you know, in relation to whether she'll be imprisoned, I don't know. I won't make that call, but she's definitely going to be caught up there. Her life post Trump presidency is going to be vastly altered to the lifestyle she lives now. And it's going to be around, you know, because things are going to be illuminated so strongly. So, you know, we're not far away from the end of this. For people who are getting tired and are worried, we're coming into the last pieces of the puzzle now, and it won't be long, I think, before the full story's out, and the House of Cards is actually in free fall. Okay, it's toppling. All right, I'll leave that there. Thank you.